About 6,850 Americans have been killed in combat in Iraq and Afghanistan during the 14 years since 9/11. But here's what's even more tragic. More than 250,000 of our combat veterans from Iraq and Afghanistan are suffering from post-traumatic stress disorder, PTSD. And according to the Veterans Administration, 22 of them commit suicide every day. That's more than 8,000 suicides a year. That's more suicides per year than we've lost in combat over the past 14 years. Many of these veterans say the one thing that helps is cannabis. Some say cannabis has saved their lives. This video tells one veteran's story about how cannabis helped him and how it saved his marriage.
I served in Kuwait, right on the border, and I was a convoy escort unit. So the convoys would come to us and pretty much we would take them anywhere they needed to go in Iraq.
You came back, everything was fine or not fine?
It was a roller coaster. We knew that I had PTSD. It wasn't something like, I have PTSD, I need to use cannabis. I did take the prescriptions they initially offered.
And what was your experience with that?
My functioning ability went down drastically because some of these medicines they would prescribe, you would end up sitting in a chair and just drooling on yourself because of what they were doing to you. Not to mention long-term side effects. I started full-time cannabis use almost 2 years after my return. So I followed the doctor's orders and I tried doing what they wanted. Meanwhile, my family the whole time, they were starting to see me not in a good spot.
So when you went off of the meds and back to cannabis, what was that like?
Immediately, I was relaxed.
Mm-hmm.
Immediately, I wasn't fearing anything. I wasn't suspecting people around me, say at a grocery store, of plotting against me.
And you were before?
Yes. I couldn't go to a bowling alley. I couldn't go to a busy store. If it was too busy, I had to walk out. I had too many people to keep track of. I don't know what they're doing, where their hands were. But after using cannabis, I realized more so than the pills that I could be relaxed.
So just based on your own experience of people you know, a good thing, a bad thing, cannabis and PTSD?
I can't think of one bad experience. We had a guy that he was able to put together a yearbook for us. Unfortunately, now I have a few markings in there of soldiers that have committed suicide after returning home. I don't know their stories fully, but they're ones that I think that if they would have sat down and smoked a joint, maybe they would have lived another day. Yes.
And how many do you know personally who have committed suicide?
Personally, people that I have served with and call my friends and brothers 3, personally.
Any way you could speculate on what your lives might be like if you didn't have access to cannabis?
I don't think I would be married right now.
One of the barriers to veterans being able to use cannabis for their PTSD is the lack of clinical data showing what many veterans say they already know. Cannabis helps alleviate PTSD symptoms and it saves lives. Dr. Sue Sisley, who's been working with veterans with PTSD for roughly 20 years, was awarded a $2.2 million grant by the Colorado Health Department to study the effectiveness of cannabis for treating PTSD. Her study is being sponsored by an organization known as MAPS. We'll be talking more about that study in future videos. For now, let me just say that federal regulators have been standing in the way. We need to spread the word because that's how we're going to get the people standing in the way out of the way. Check out the MAPS website. The address is on your screen for more information on Dr. Sisley's study and how you can help. You can start helping right now by forwarding this video to friends, relatives, co-workers, elected officials, and anyone else who might be willing to speak out.